Pigeons 420. Mr. Grow It. And Rob from Cannabis Lifestyle TV. From the Stash Podcast.
And a huge shout out to AC Infinity, one of the best, if not the best, in air circulation in your garden. From smart controllers to tents to inline fans, they have everything you need to ensure quality performance of your garden. Consider checking out acinfinity.com and using promo code THESTASH15 to help save a few dollars off at checkout. Thank AC Infinity for helping bring us today's podcast. Yeah, what's going
up,
on,
everybody?
Hey.
Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. Haven't seen you guys in a minute. And who's this in the side in the corner?
Who's that?
Jharia.
Welcome.
Girl,
What's
looking
up?
good. How you doing?
I'm good now. I got all my boys here with me. All of them. I got all
Hell
my
yeah.
boys with me.
Well, welcome. We are happy to have you here. Good to
All my
smoke. Good to
boys.
chill.
Yeah, good to see everybody in the chat. My goodness,
chat's
did you
going
guys see that
crazy.
we had a special guest, Jharia Blaque, in the house? Because my God, look at all those subs.
So much
Wow,
love
you
in the
guys,
chat.
Shine.
so much
Positive
love. I'm gonna
comments,
crack a red bill for that.
Nah, you know what? I'm gonna drink some water for that. That's man.
Man.
I got the Red Bull too.
Shout out to everyone in the. You don't too? Oh, you sugar
Just
free.
love and
Not
What's
positivity.
up, guys, in the chat? I got two.
Crazy. Just
Hey,
boom, boom,
everybody.
boom, boom.
What's going on, Gromies? Y'all miss me? Did y'all miss me? I
You know they
missed
did.
y'all.
You know they did. Guys, welcome
I
back. Happy
miss y'all.
Tuesday. It's another new week. Another week for the books.
Oh, yeah.
We were. Oh no, I had the wrong show. I was like, weren't we supposed to be on YouTube today? Wait a second. Nope,
Laz,
that's
appreciate you,
not
brother.
it. No,
Yeah,
that's
that is
top.
awesome. That is awesome.
Wow, look at all the love, Laz. Thank you so much,
So
Canaman
before we go too
Mitten
far,
Craft. Wow, go ahead.
are we smoking?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, why not?
Smoking?
Yeah. I took
Wait,
195.
I mean, technically-
I can't smoke. Wait, I can't smoke.
Well, you got to find a fucking stream or a show I'm not smoking on, honestly. Like, that's like good luck. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not many I haven't smoked on. I said,
So, because I was saving all my smoking today for you guys.
there you go.
Hey,
So I'm gonna
Really?
go from
Really?
just so y'all
Oh,
know,
he doesn't
everyone
believe
in the chat, everyone in the chat pretty much knows I'm gonna go from really excited to I'm gonna go bacon fried. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
You're in the right place for that. Chad, what are y'all smoking on? I got
Some
myself
good.
some grape ape in it. What are you guys smoking on?
Powering that shit down. Powering that shit down.
I
For
got Blue
myself,
Dream.
I'm smoking. Oh, you got Blue Dream?
Yeah, I grew
Like
up
Blue
some
Dream, Blue Dream?
and smoking.
Throwback.
Yeah,
right.
I'm growing the last bit. I'm smoking the last bit of Blue Dream that I got, and yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Nice, nice. What's your Chris?
Got some Runts live rosin in a cartridge right here. So pretty good, pretty tasty
Hey.
stuff.
That's an everlasting freaking cart, man. You've had that thing forever.
I only smoke on streams.
He's
He's
like,
like, I don't even
trick.
smoke in
Other than
real
that, I'm
life.
smoking blunts.
Only on stream. No.
Other than that, I'm smoking blunts or joints or bowls, but the cartridge is really just been on stream.
Yeah.
It's
No,
easy,
yeah.
man. I enjoy the cart, man. It's easy. It's effective. You know, it works when you need it. I can't smoke it all day or else it'll make me pass out. But other than that, it's like convenient. I use it for the boys' hockey games, going out. You know, you're amongst a bunch of people. You don't want to spark a bowl because it's not as inconspicuous.
Yeah. or the
Whip out a
bomb,
cart.
you know.
Yeah. It's a little makes people a little uncomfortable. You whip the glass out and you
He got the rig with the torch.
just in the side of the street.
What's going on? Smoke break.
Yeah,
That's when everybody goes over there.
Where I live
Yeah.
at, if you about the glass, they thinking some other shit. So
Yeah, see, I'm not a glass guy. You know, I'm a blunt smoker. So myself, I'm currently smoking on some grunts, almost like grunts, but it's Gorilla Glue. Grunts came together, did their thing. That's what I got now. But speaking of doing their thing and things coming together and merging into a new mix, Hoodganics. That's a
Hoodganics.
damn. It should be trademarked. Should be trademarked. Now,
It's
Jay,
it's already in the works.
there you go.
It's already in the works.
Kind
So
of a new.
Hoodganics is in the works.
Well, it's like a new old approach. It's like it's a modified approach. It's like you look at a lot of martial arts and they'll be modified for the current application, the current situation, and it's like you did that with your grow. Being where you live, it's not like you're right in the country and you could just go. Everything's an easy resource to do compost or all these things that some organic growers would do. You kind of hybridized it into your own approach, and being a relatively newer grower, you've been doing well for yourself because you're figuring out what works for you, not necessarily just taking a one particular process and run it with it. So if you want to maybe explain a little what Hoodganics is to the people, they may not understand.
So Hoodganics is a stem from KNF, like Korean natural farming. And for me, y'all talk real geeky, and where I'm from, it's like I understand it, but trying to explain it to people or trying to understand what I call quote unquote geek talk, it's sometimes like my attention span is not that long. I mean, like you got a few seconds. I got attention span probably like a fly. Like it's not that long. And I learned that I have to basically dumb things down for myself. And then I realized I'm not the only person. And then I have a bad habit of using hood analogies when I'm explaining stuff. So one day I was explaining something. They thought, "You so hood." I was like, "Yes, because I'm natural, baby. Talking, popping my shit." And I thought, you know what? This is Hoodganics, baby. This is what this is. This is Hoodganics. So this is what it is. I do what works for me. I do the research. I listen to what you guys say and other people that's been in the industry for a long time. And if it makes sense for me to do it, I do it. If it don't make sense or I don't understand it, I find ways to relate to it, or I come up with my own idea, or I test my own theory out. You know what I mean? Like sometimes what works for you guys might not work for me because where I'm at. You know what I mean? So I do my own thing. So I call that Hoodganics. I can't really call it real Korean natural farming because I don't really have I'm not back here mixing jadams, and I use a little jadam here and there, but I'm not mixing down jadams every day. I'm not using, cover crops every day. I'm not doing those things. Do I know how to? Yes. Am I doing that? Hell no. And if I am, I'm doing it the ghetto way. Listen, we're going to put this like this. We're going to cut this like that. And this is what's happening. And we're going to see what happens. Either it works or it don't. If it works, then, we keep it part of the process. If it don't, then move on to the next.
I think another part of that, which you talked about on the Garden Talk podcast when you and I sat down, was the DIY side of things, right? You're big into like DIY and making it work, right? So you had talked about
don't nobody got no money for all that fancy schmancy stuff. Like that stuff expensive. If I keep trying to keep up with the Joneses, they're gonna be calling me candy on the pole. Like I can't do all that.
See, I like the fact that basically your approach is kind of like flowing like water, kind of just making it work. And that's where a lot of other approaches is very rigid. It's very like you have to do it this way and fuck improvising, go and buy this thing, order it.
Rob, who says that? Who says that? Who says I have to do it that way?
Nobody. And that's the beauty of it. A lot of people just look at everything so literal. They'll read one of these books, probably not the 7 Steps to Grow Cannabis, because that gives you the simple process, but they probably read one of these Bibles, so to speak, and it overcomplicates a lot of the stuff. And it makes it so somebody's like, well, I have to do it this way, not realizing they could pivot to make it work for their own setup. I think that doing it yourself and either making something or buying something that's not directly for it is a way that a lot of people can not just save money, but potentially find new ways to go about growing that could help the next grower who's starting out. Not everybody needs to spend $1,000 to get set up. They could pivot and improvise.
You don't have to spend $1,000. You don't have. It's a lot of things you don't have to do. Like I think that when it comes to growing, people tend to overthink it. Yeah. They tend to overthink it. I think when it comes to growing, I think they take everyone literal. You know what I mean? Like if Rob says I'm growing in this size 10 and this size spot, like they take everything you say literal. No, like I hear what Rob's saying, I hear what Pigeon's saying, I hear what Chris is saying, I hear what Gigi's saying. That's all dope. Yeah, that's cool. It don't work for me. I'm gonna try this one.
Right.
Like, and that's okay.
It is okay, and that's exactly what growing cannabis is all about. And we kind of joke that that people do take it literal, but the problem is oftentimes you'll kind of lay out what your garden consists of and how it's working, but what you won't mention is maybe what the percentage of the humidity was at that moment, or what the temperature was at that time, or what your light distance was away from the plant, or what your, and so there's little bits of that story that get forgotten. And then when someone tries to emulate or recreate those scenarios, they don't have all the variables to begin with, and understanding your approach, which is fantastic, which is take it easy, keep it simple. Don't forget that what you're doing is for pleasure. It's for benefit. There's for a reward there. It's not supposed to be work. It's not supposed to be complicated. You're not supposed to overthink it. It's supposed to work for you. It's supposed to be a system that works for you. That's the benefit of growing your own weed. If it didn't, you would just spend the $50 to go get your own eighth. You know what I mean? Like that would be the difference. So make it simple. And that's what I love about your technique is literally laying it in layman's terms, or in Hoodganics, how to get it done using what you have on hand and what is at your disposal without going overboard and making it complicated.
Well, I mean, exactly. I mean, it's also, I guess for me, it's more so like growing for me is my counseling. So it requires me to open up. It requires me to have dialogue. Like all you guys is in the chat because you guys are trying to learn how to do something. That allows all of us to talk, all of us to chat. You got your way, Chris got his way, you guys in the chat got your way. Like, you know what I mean? You got your own climate, your own different things. I get to learn about not just the plant, but you, your environment, what's going on in those environments, what is affecting you. Like, I don't know about mental health in Michigan. Like, I don't live in Michigan, but you know what I mean? Like, you might grow for mental health. Or what's so deep in there? It opens up other things. It brings me to other hoods. You know what I mean? So, like, y'all take this too serious. Even if you're trying to do a commercial grow, that's the problem with commercial grows. Like, come on, like you don't gotta do the same thing the next person doing. Do your own thing. Find your niche and do it. Period.
The problem is someone will read something or watch something and assume that every bit of information that's put out is exactly what that person's doing versus this is experience they've had. Prime example would be looking at Chris's garden. Majority of what I see is a simple organic grow. Majority of it. But he also will lay out every technical bit of everything. This is like I said, the one who speaks nerd talk is Chris because he's the most educated in this area now. Literally, Geekganics. But it's so he can explain the science behind it, but then also still keep it just as simple because he knows that the complicated side of it. Like so having the knowledge is good, but then knowing that every bit of what you got doesn't have to be applied. I used to know this dude who applied every bit of everything he saw, and his garden was always fucked up. Always.
Well, how could you listen? How could you let's go back to that statement. How could you apply everything you saw? I cannot apply everything that Chris does. First of all, let's be clear. If you are like a true fan of Chris, you know that he is he got the PFFs going, the grid going, the left side grid, right side grid, as though he pulled out a whole everything to measure from top to. I cannot emulate what he does. In a million years. I can get the basis to get me started, but I cannot emulate everything that he does because he's more scientific than me. So you're already going to know that your grow is automatically going to be different than his. You should already understand that. And if you don't, then you're naive. Like you went into this naive.
Well, and it's like how you get the end result. Your plant at the end can look exactly the same, but how you went about it could be a totally different method, even more simple and everything. Like a good example too would be Goblin's organic run versus my organic run. He hand mixes everything. He does all of it from scratch, everything he does. Mine, I was simple as shit and bought a pretty much Betty Crocker box and had my 3.0 Build-A-Soil mix that was already done for me. So I didn't have to do a whole lot. So it's like everybody has their own approach, but a lot of times in those areas you'll spend more money. The DIY does take a little bit more time and sometimes education. You want to learn how to do something. If you're gonna do it yourself, you're gonna have to be a little handy or hop on the good old YouTube or somewhere and learn how to do something well. The problem also comes into certain things can't be DIY. Like you look into your lighting, you can still supplement in let's say a cheaper end. Like somebody will start off and it's like, well, if I'm gonna do exactly what the guy or gal I watch on YouTube is, I got to go get that expensive light, use that fire ass discount code they have, and
Right.
this and this. As where you could start in looking at the technology and be like, well, maybe I can get a CMH. I'm gonna be able to get comparable results. The initial cost of the light is cheaper, and it still isn't a huge pull on the electricity. Maybe my coverage isn't as much, but you just know you can improvise and kind of like move and pivot versus being rigid and sticking with one way to do it. Just got to keep it simple.
It's funny when even when you're talking about lights. I mean when I first started, the lights that I had were like they were blurples, but they came with the bloom and the veg like switch. And of course, I didn't do no research on lights or anything at the time.
I
And
like how you
then
say "of course" because you and I are so similar, girl. You and I are so similar.
like I didn't know it. I didn't like
Plug
Penny. I
and
didn't
play.
know nothing. Right. It was like all right, whatever. I didn't know that. So then later on, I got into like reading more, like more. I found myself in a room with people who all they did was talk about lights from sun up to sunset, like literally. So after like 30 days, I'm like a professional in lighting. I felt like, and I ordered the photon tech lights and I got those. And then later on, I think after talking to Chris or watching something with Chris and did the research, I realized the same output that my photon somewhat was giving me, if I would have like used the two buttons on the side or something, it would have brought me halfway. Like it was just things that I learned that I just did not know. So like you don't have to start out with the most expensive things. What you need to start doing is just your research, your reading, and keep it the most simple as possible. And I promise you, you still won't get that fire. It's gonna be nice.
I think a lot of people do make that do that same thing where they try to start out with the best of the best, and
Right.
you just nailed it. You don't have to. You can start out like there are still blurple lights on the market today that will do good, will grow the plants pretty good. I think particularly talking about scientists out there, lighting scientists, saying it's not really the amount, like the spectrum, but it's more about the amount of photons. And we're finding that some of these blurple lights, they put out a large density of photons, and they can do just as well as some of these white light LEDs, and they're cheaper. So you can certainly start out with the cheaper equipment and work your way up. Maybe later on down the line, you want to get something a little bit better than that. But yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people, again, I'm repeating myself here, but people always want to start with the best, but you really don't have to in order
I
to be
think
successful.
it's a common misconception that you have to start from 0 to 100 instead of working your way up gradually. And if you're dealing with a situation where your monthly expenses are the big focus, then yeah, okay, maybe drop a bunch of money initially. But if you're dealing with the fact that your initial cost is the issue, your budget's low, start low. I mean, even in simple of you don't want to run the same exact technique someone else does. Maybe somebody's watching, Chris, and they're like, oh, I want to be able to run Dutch Pro and do everything to the T. Well, maybe don't get the entire line and just start small, and you're going to get pretty good results, but you got to work up. You're going to start as a white belt, get your stripes and work your way up. But
That's why you chose Dutch Pro, because there's only 5 bottles, baby. That's why
that's
you
a
chose
big,
them, right?
big reason why you did that.
Well, well,
Sorry, go ahead, Drew.
since we talk, so since we talking about Dutch Pro, and y'all know I like to save coins and everything, y'all should make sure y'all go over there to like, what I'm saying, all their links, and in the links down at the bottom, it's like a discount code. So
Yeah.
since you guys are
Right
really
there.
concerned with, you know what I mean, like how much money you're gonna spend, hit that link, you know what I'm saying, like and subscribe, leave a comment. You know what I'm saying? You know how to find everybody,
You're a
CLtv,
beast.
y'all
That a
been
girl.
watching this for a minute, you know what I mean? So hit the like and subscribe button, leave a comment. I think on Mr. Grower, though, you gotta go on his email address and leave a comment. He always get back to you on that one. But make sure
He's
there's
like,
some
"Thanks,
coins
Admin."
out there, save some money, get you a little setup from Xfinity Tints as well, too. Don't forget I'm having a giveaway, so you can check that out as well. You know what I mean?
And a girl. Where you at, too, before we get too far? Where you at? I know you got a YouTube channel. It's playing behind me. What is it?
So I have a YouTube channel called Candace's Sesh every Friday. We started going live now. So I go live now. It's no more pre-recorded. I go live now every Friday at 8:00. And that is females talking about all kinds of stuff and how they got it on the mud. You know what I mean? How they hit rock bottom or started their businesses and how we, how us females operate in the space of cannabis. It's a little bit different and rough, for us females. So we talk about that on Friday nights. And then on Sundays at 7:00, I got big bros. I talk to different people that deal with the cannabis plants, whether it's about growing, branding, starting your own business, anything that has to do with men and cannabis. Because I believe when it comes to men and cannabis, we just search you guys out to like grow stuff. We don't search you guys out to say, okay, they are human beings, they are a person.
Feelings.
They got wellness answers. They got wellness issues. They got mental health issues. They got other issues besides just growing. So I like to dive into those things. I like to humanize the people in the industry or in the field, period. I mean, I don't think men get that. You know what I mean? I think men get more of a, you carry a lot of weight. Men carry a lot of weight, and then they get like chomped up if they talk about, well, I use weed for my mental stress. Like they gotta always say I use weed because of a back problem, or they quote unquote they gotta call it PSTDS or whatever. No, that man used that weed because he was anxiety, or you got the fuck on his nerve. Like this is anything. Like you got issues like the rest of us, and it don't make you less human. It don't make you a girly girl or a simp, as they say. So I like to bring, awareness to men and what it is they bring out to the cannabis industry too.
Let's take a hit and give thanks to our sponsor, Thick Ass Glass. Use discount code THESTASH for 25% off. They sent me over their 12-inch straight tube, and their name stands true. This is some thick ass glass. They have everything from pipes, bubblers, straight tubes, beakers, incyclers, recyclers, and so much more. Visit their website at thickassglass.com, and don't forget to use the discount code THESTASH to save on any of their products.
I appreciate it because it ain't easy out here for a pimp. Jharia, I appreciate that, and what you're doing right now for content is stellar, and I hope you keep it up. Not only do you have the personality for this, but you've got the tenacity and the attitude to keep going and to take this to a level that's not even been seen yet. So keep it up. We're proud of you, and we're rooting for you too. One thing I just kind of wanted to mention, I think the evolution of cannabis content has kind of led us down that path of where people are overthinking and looking for the best products. When I started looking for cannabis information, which was almost non-existent at the time, it was literally just a guy with a cell phone. I make fun of this all the time, but this is how it was. It was a guy with a cell phone with either Blurple or HPS lights, probably even CFL lights.
Fans on like crazy.
Fans like crazy.
Hey, what's up, dude? I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it's so bad. And and so now it's like where you've got the people that are putting out content now that have the best stuff. I have the best shit on the line. I'll be the first to admit it. It's a weird flex. I've got the greatest lights. I've got the best nutrients. I've got the greatest tents. I've got the best strains. It's all the greatest stuff. So when I'm taking pictures and taking video of this, people are thinking, that's what I have to have. Wow, Pigeons has got all this shit that he paid nothing for the
only
record.
been a decade of fucking growing.
It's only been a decade worth of stuff. Yeah, but that's the evolution that's happened though. When I first started, I was recording with CFLs, HPS lights, wrong cultivars that I knew nothing about. That's what it was. So people were like, oh, you know what? That's what I'm going to come up with. I'm just going to make it work with whatever I have. But now that's just
relatable then.
Relatable,
now everybody
but now
wants
that's
to
just
be
not
relatable,
the
so
case.
they buy the same shit. So it's like,
right.
I want to do what he's doing. I want to follow along.
And it's just not necessary. It's just not necessary, and that's why
where,
your content is refreshing.
Not immediately. I think to work. I think that's why that is good.
I think that's why I came up with Hoodganics. It was more so like I'm coming from the hood. I don't have everything. Like people think I have everything. Let's be clear. Everybody thinks that I have everything. No, I don't. I go to work. I have a job like regular people like you guys. I go to work. I and I read and I put a budget together and I, research on Google and YouTube University. And I teach myself what I can teach myself. And then I go out and I ask questions. And if I don't think it makes sense or it's not making sense to me, I'm not scared to say, yo, can you talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old? Because I don't know what the hell you just said.
Oh yeah,
Like, I
I
don't know what you
still do
just
that
said.
shit.
Talk to me like tell
How we
me if
talk to
I
each other, Rob.
Yeah, literally, I
like,
would break it down.
mean? Like, so, and
Robin
it's
Pitches are good.
okay. Like, it's okay. I think people get scared. I think everyone wants to talk like they're Peter or Chris or Goblin. And it's just like, no, I'm not gonna talk like that, and they're not gonna talk like me, and that's what it's gonna be. But I'm gonna get this. I'm no less um I'm no less smarter than he is. He just happens to take in knowledge a little different than me
Well,
and
and it's like
comprehend a little different than me.
knowing
So
vocabulary is really good. Like we're working on a project for a Grand Theft Auto server, RP server, me and PR, and we thought that knowing vocabulary was the selling point. You know what I'm saying? But turns out like that's not always the case. It's great when you have, again, putting Chris on the pedestal and Goblin, when you know the words and the information behind it and you could apply it. That's the key. But a lot of people
right,
regurgitate information and don't know. Like you may not know every bit of everything, but when you do watch, especially with the garden talks and when he'll bring on the experts and stuff who are like next level in a particular field, you don't have to be an expert too, but you can digest that information and apply it to your garden in the best way that you can, because it's like, this is someone who's going to give you the definition, the book version, and then you take it as the student and apply it as well as you can in terms of your budget,
right,
knowledge, experience, everything,
right.
There's teachers of all types as well, right? If everyone could just learn from a book, you would never need a teacher, So it's like there's going to be teachers that are going to come in the shape and form as Chris. There's going to be teachers that come in the shape and form as you, and somebody as myself, I can't always take information, or take in the information in a form in which the way Chris says it. A lot of terms, a lot of definitions, very, very concise, very accurate. Sometimes I really just need to know, the basics of it. So this is going to go for everyone. It's levels of interpretation too, and a level of education. It's like I'm not ready for that level that Chris is on, but I can handle the level. And it's not that you guys aren't on the same level, it's that you can explain it differently and you can educate
That's
people on a
it.
different perspective. And
That's
that's what's
it.
important. And that's why we need a multitude, a wide variety of people that are taking this on. And you're on to something here. You're onto something. And I think it's obvious with how excited the chat is and how excited your channel is when I tune in and I see the engagement from your audience. And you guys can take part of that as well with Jharia Blaque on her YouTube channel. And you're on Instagram too, by the way, are you not?
I am on Instagram. It is Jharia Shaw, Jharia.Shaw on Instagram. I am on any podcast available, all except for iHeartRadio. I'm waiting for approval for that. So, but I am on Apple, I'm on Spotify, so you can hear me wherever on any platform that you listen to iPad on. I mean, yeah, your podcast one. I'm not on Twitch yet, but I'm building that out. That's going to be
You will
coming
be.
soon. But on Fridays, I do have a co-host. Her name is Pop Mom, so I will be on her channel as well when that goes live. I'm currently working on another podcast coming up with Zaza Genetics. I will be going with him on a show called Zaza's Breeding Life. So I'm his co-host. I don't know why I don't breed shit, people.
Oh, we know why, girl. We know why. You're gonna carry your own.
We're gonna breed. We're gonna figure out how we gonna breed this shit back up. Okay, so come follow me, dude. I don't know. I think you crazy.
Well, you've given a
else?
lot of tips. If somebody was just getting started, they want to get into this. They have zero experience, but they see what you're doing. They see what we're doing. What would be the number one advice to give to somebody in that position?
And they want to do it, like grow. Do you mean they want to grow?
Yeah. They want to take grow.
Okay. The this is gonna sound weird. Like I'm being, but I'm being honest. So, during my travels, I wish somebody would have told me I would go get Chris book. I'm sorry.
Go get
I
Chris's
would go get
book.
Chris book. I would go get Chris book. I'm gonna be honest. If you want to keep it simple and tie it into like making sure you save money and stuff like that, just research it, like save your money, but to make sure that you're not going to waste your money, I would get Chris book. Because he's going to give you the 7 quick tips to start, and then you can relate that to your pockets. And any one of us on here has like a discount, or anybody you can Google a discount for your lights, whether it be Blurples or whatever. But he gives you the 7 basics, so you won't be like trying 100 different methods on germination. Like you, from beginning to end, you're gonna know you're gonna have at least a complete growth. Will it be perfect? Will you not have other issues? I'm not saying that. But will you get started correctly? I would go with Chris.
That's great advice. Great
I'm
advice.
humbled to hear that. That's so
Cosign,
cool.
baby. That's a cosign.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right, it
Thanks,
is.
I'm glad it helps you.
Hold it
I
up in
know
a
it helped
mirror.
you at one point. I know you're beyond that at this point, right? You've done so much more than that, but that means a lot. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I will be the one thing I say.
Well, with that being said, I think it's time for us to smoke on Twitch.
Hell
Good,
yeah.
YouTube and everything else. So with that being said, it's your boy Rob, Mr. Grow It, Pigeons, and Jharia. We out.